Hello, everyone. Welcome to David's launch party. I'm Robbie Samuels. It's been a long time coming, David. This is a great opportunity for all of us to gather, celebrate this amazing new resource that David has put out into the world. It's been a real pleasure. I've been behind the scenes working with him on his launch and gotten to know a lot of the people in his community because of this. And I'm really excited that we're finally able to, now that it's after the holidays, gather everyone to really talk about not just the results of his launch, which are pretty remarkable, but what comes next? What are the ways David can be supporting the work that you're doing beyond even this book? You're going to actually get a chance to hear an interview that I'm doing with him today. And you're also going to see him do 3 live hot seats. So these 3 people have already been selected. So don't feel like, oh my God, you might be put on the spot. Don't worry. They know who they are, and they're going to be on the screen in just a little while. And we'll have time for Q&A. We're going to give away some prizes. At any point during this event, what I would love you to do to actively participate is one, use the reactions that you can put the emojis on the screen. Please, that's a great way to show some love. In fact, do that right now just so we know you all can find that. It's probably under the react button is where you want to be clicking. The other thing I want you to do is in the chat, if somebody could share a way David has positively impacted your life and your business. So whether it was a formal engagement where you were working with him, maybe it's reading this book, maybe it's a comment he made, snarky or otherwise, to you when you needed to hear it most. I want to give you an opportunity just to kind of share kind of something that he maybe said to you, something you remember, something you have witnessed him do that has helped you in some way. So feel free to drop that in the chat. We have one of his team members, Sam, here. She's going to be grabbing those to share with David afterwards, so this celebration can last a lot longer. And now, without any further ado, let me bring the man who needs no introduction back up on stage here where he belongs. David, welcome to your own party.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. This is so much fun. This is totally amazing. I want to share with you just a little bit of the journey. Robbie has been so incredibly helpful and incredibly instrumental in helping me give this book the launch that I really could have only dreamed of, to be completely transparent and completely honest with you. So, the book came out. We had a fantastic group of beta readers, super, super helpful. If you were on the beta team, please type beta in the chat. You have my eternal gratitude. I implemented almost 100% of the changes, the recommendations, the style choices, the word choices, the ideas, cutting out some of the repetition in the book, making this as lean and mean and effective as it possibly could be. So thank you to the beta readers. And of course, the amazing launch team. The amazing launch team. Some of the beta readers were on the launch team. Some of the launch team people were not beta readers. But if you were on the launch team, then thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we had a total of 379 people joined the launch team. We did a special launch team training, a launch team only training back in December. I think we had about 80 people show up live for that. The entire purpose and goal and hope and dream and wish was to get this little book, the little book that could get this little book as many reviews as possible, as quickly as possible. And at this point, I think we have 203 written reviews with a goal of 250. Along the way, we hit number one, number two, number three bestseller in multiple categories, not just once, not just for an hour, not just for a day, not just for a week, but for 8 weeks, 9 weeks running. I think it's still number one right now in the category called commerce, but thanks to the launch team's efforts, the book reached number one for days and days and weeks in categories like commerce and small business selling and half a dozen other categories. So it's just been amazing. And when I say I literally could not have done it with every person on this call, I could not have done it without every person on this call. So thank you, and thank you.
Oh my gosh. It has been so wild to see the response from your community. Someone mentioned 209 in the chat. That is probably referring to the number of star ratings. And this is a first lesson that I had to teach every author I work with is that the ratings up at the top doesn't mean everyone wrote a review. In this case, 203 out of 209 people took the time to not just leave a 4 or 5 star rating, but to write something. And some people wrote paragraphs and paragraphs. And so we're going to get into an interview in a second, but I wanted to give folks a chance to respond to the poll, 4 quick yes no questions that David supplied. And we're going to close that poll in 10 seconds. And then we're going to just look at the results together with you, David, and then jump into the interview. So 5 seconds left for those of you who want to quickly run through, get your answers in. Four, three, two. Someone snuck in there at one. Ending the poll, sharing the results. All right. So, David, first question was, do you sometimes feel you blend in too much with lookalike competitors with no clear reason why your name should rise to the top? I see 60% saying yes. All right. I think they're in the right place.
And we'll see. By the end of this call, these numbers may shift, or your particular answer may
Mm-hmm.
shift. My
Yeah.
experience in working with folks on this means 60% yes, 40% delusional. But let's move on.
Do you rely on referrals and word of mouth as your primary and unpredictable growth engine?
This one's more like it.
72% yes.
Yeah, this one's more like it.
Yeah. Number three, do you feel you have a reputation that doesn't reflect the scale of your accomplishments or the ambition of your vision? 62% yes.
And 38% means your goals are too low. Just saying. Just we're keeping it real here, folks.
Are you burning too much time, energy, and patience on long, slow sales cycles because prospects don't know who you are? Oh, this was really a painful thing for me for a very long time,
Me
David.
too. Me too.
Reading
All
that
of these.
question gave me a little PTSD response. 81% of people still feeling that's where they are. And I
Yes.
feel like clearly people need the work that you're doing out in the world. I'm going to just take a quick screenshot. And while I do this, the question I had for you was around kind of the origin story behind this particular book because um I mean it's a little different than the other books you've written and you didn't have to write another book. I mean, it's great that you did. We're all grateful, but what was sort of the impetus for this book coming into the world?
So I honestly didn't think I was going to write another book, but the problem I was thinking about and setting out to solve is how do smart people, leaders in their industry who are doing great amazing work, how do they get noticed? How do they get their products and services noticed, their company, their brand, their personal brand, their cause, their organization? And I had written about distinction. I had written about being provocative. I had written about being contrarian in the Do It Marketing book, a little bit scattered, chapter here, chapter there. Again, in the Do It Speaking book in 2020. By the way, don't write a book on speaking that comes out in January of 2020. Bad plan there. I wrote about it again, even more in Do It Selling, but I didn't really tell people how to do that. And so it's like be different, be contrarian, stir the pot, do things differently than everyone else, stand out from the competition. All of that sounds great. And a lot of my clients were like, "Okay, David, let's do that." And then we rolled up our sleeves and then we started doing the work of the work to actually make that happen. And I was like, this isn't in a book. The exactly how to think about it, how to implement it, how to challenge yourself, how to decommoditize what you do. I had never gone to that level of detail. So this book is that level of detail. And that was the origin story of the book.
The moment that you said don't come out with a book about speaking in January of 2020, Sam, your team member, like did a face palm. Oh, nothing quite so violent, David. But yes, we cannot actually all foresee the future. The futurists among us can only predict so much.
It's
Uh,
true.
who did you have in mind as the ideal reader as you were writing this book? I mean, it seems like a lot of people in a way could benefit, but is there a particular subset of human that would benefit the most?
There was, and then it changed, but it didn't. So, at first, I thought everybody like us, all the solo consultants, speakers, trainers, we already had this figured out. This is not hard. Turns out they don't have it figured out, and it's still hard. And to some extent, even the clients that I work with are constantly raising the bar to do this. So at first, I thought, okay, it's not those people, but it's going to be the mid-market CEOs. It's going to be the founders of marketing agencies and consulting firms and IT consulting firms and training companies. And they have their heads, and again, if there's any of them here, I apologize. I love you. I'm happy to help you. They have their heads so far up their butts, many of them don't even know they have a problem. So, how did I save myself from this market message mismatch? I will tell you. The secret is the pre-title of the book. So the pre-title of the book, so this is the title, this is the subtitle, up here is the pre-title. It says The Ultimate Guide for Mavericks, Visionaries, and Changemakers. Mavericks, visionaries, changemakers who want to play bigger, grow faster, and become a category of one. So at this point, I realized, you know what? It's not a demographic, it's a problem graphic. So who has this problem? And it could be a founder, a speaker, a consultant, a coach. It could be an attorney. It could be a real estate agent. It could be someone that runs a trade show exhibit company. So we'll talk about that later. And it's not, it's whoever resonates with this problem around differentiation, positioning, messaging, and distinction. That's who I wrote it for, and that's who I'm finding myself working with today.
There are lots of books on the general topic of marketing,
Oh, yes.
and I mean, how do you find a whole worthy of your knowledge set and know that this needs to be shared? How do you find the differentiation between you and the other books? So what's the unique perspective that you're bringing with this book that maybe hasn't been explored in the same way
Sure.
by others?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna call out two of my heroes, Seth Godin and Gary Vaynerchuk. And 25 years ago, Seth Godin came out with a book called Purple Cow. Purple Cow is all about being remarkable. No one notices a brown cow, everyone notices a purple cow. So be remarkable was Seth's advice. Gary Vaynerchuk, he says, just put out a constant stream of amazing, incredible content, and the world will open for you, and people will beat their way down to your door. Remarkable, amazing content. Neither one of these guys, who I both dearly love, I have all of their books. I'm a huge fan. I'm a super fan. They don't give you the how exactly does that work? So, hey, listen, Seth, how do I, knock, knock, Seth Godin, how do I become a purple cow? When you say remarkable, what does remarkable look like? What questions do I have to ask myself to start being more remarkable and less boring and less dull and less vanilla and less of a brown cow? Hey, Gary V, when you say amazing, incredible content, what's your definition of amazing, incredible content that will lead people to the realization that they need to buy from me, they need to be my client or customer? So, standing on the shoulders of giants, as we all do, I wanted to write the playbook of how do you truly stand out, differentiate, elevate yourself head and shoulders above everyone who does what you do and looks like they do what you do. And how do you finally get the recognition that your expertise deserves? And so that's how it's different, is that you might read some of these other books on positioning, marketing, and differentiation, and you're left saying, now what? Market Eminence is the guidebook for now what?
So how do we know, like, what does it look like when we get this right? There's lots of examples of not getting it right, but
Oh,
what does it look
yes.
like when we nail it?
for sure. So you'll know that you got it right when your website, your LinkedIn, every piece of marketing material that is prospect facing is completely free of cliches. So you've done a cliche killer pass through your homepage, your about page, your services page, your LinkedIn about section, your whole LinkedIn profile. You know that your voice is clear and distinct, even if your name is not attached to it, even if your logo is not attached to it. So I can put a piece of content out into the marketplace. And for my fans and friends, people on this call, you don't see Do It Marketing. You don't see written by David Newman. You see nothing that identifies me. You could take a black marker, a black Sharpie, and black all of that out. And you would say, man, that sounds a lot like David Newman. So your voice is now distinct. What you say and how you say it, what you do and how you do it is uniquely you. You also don't fail the I should hope so test. The I should hope so test is we have experience, we have expertise, we're customers first, our people are our greatest asset. That's also a cliche killer, but it's kind of like table stakes. So the I should hope so test is you've got no more I should hope so statements on any of your collateral. And the easiest thing, the best sign that you've dialed this in is people see you on LinkedIn, they attend one of your webinars, they see you speak, they see one of your videos, and they say, oh my gosh, Robbie Samuels, I saw your content, I saw you speak, I saw your video, I felt like you were talking to me. You have me so dialed in. I literally felt that you wrote that for me. You recorded that for me. You are singing my song. How do I work with you? So people say, wow, I feel that you wrote that for me. And that is electromagnetic to your business.
I remember years ago I was doing emails where I was writing little stories with a lesson. And people would reply all the time, say, "Oh my God, you're in my head." Just I journaled about that. I was just talking to my partner about that. Like when you get that kind of connection, you really understand. You're not just putting stuff out there. You're meeting that moment, and people are seeing themselves in your work, and it's such a
Yeah.
magical. You're like, "Oh, I'm onto something." Like it's the beginning glimmer. I love this. So speaking of beginning glimmers, you got some really early feedback from beta readers. And then you started getting very beginning reviews
Yeah.
before the book was even out. We were collecting reviews based on the advanced reader copy. And that's a very tenuous moment as an author. Now,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been through this before, so you were probably a little more certain it was going to land. You also gotten all that great feedback from your beta readers, of which I'm glad so many are here to see the culmination of this. But what was that early response like for you? And was there anything memorable or surprising about what people were saying that maybe you didn't realize the book was also about? Oh, the book's also about that.
So many things in response to the early reviews. First of all, you can always count on your friends. You can always count on your friends to say nice things, and then privately, like, yeah, this book sucks. But listen, I'll do you a solid. I'll write you a nice review, and that might be, your first 5 or 10 friends, business friends, colleagues, clients, etc. But this went so far beyond that the early reviews were incredibly validating. Um, as the number one thing I was looking for, that almost every review, and again, the folks here that already posted a review, thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Usability, practicality, the fact that you can take this, have a one person retreat with yourself over an afternoon, answer some tough questions. You don't need to do this with all 22 strategies in the book, but start with the first two or three that speak to you and get some tangible result and do something different the next day. So I'll share just a little bit of a review that came in early. This is a November 21st review. The first line, of course, got me because this was my entire intent. Market Eminence gets under your skin in a good way. The book is packed with practical tools and prompts that actually make you stop and think about how you're showing up. The idea that obscurity costs more than any marketing budget landed hard. If people don't know what problem you solve or why it matters, you're invisible. You need a clear point of view that someone can grasp in seconds. When David says your borrowed voice isn't fooling anyone, I nodded. See, I nodded. I felt like you were talking to me. I feel you had X-ray vision into my soul. And he says, I nodded. I may have even fist pumped in the air. I speak with clients often about how regurgitating other people's thinking never works, and this book gives you the structure to stand out without copying anyone. And I'm reading this, and I've read every single one of the reviews many, many times. So if people think, "Oh, I'm taking all these reviews for granted, I'm just skimming, I'm not, I don't care. It's just a numbers game," could not be further from the truth. But that review from November 21st kind of hit all the high points. And then it was echoed and repeated in dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews about the practicality, the usefulness, the getting it done, sit down with it for an afternoon, make some decisions, see results tomorrow. And that's what warms the cockles of my heart, truly.
I'm so glad that you got that early response to help you know that your book was having that kind of impact because it then makes you want to reach more people because then you'll know you'll reach the right people who need that message and
Right.
then those people will take it and pass it along. I've been thinking a lot about how a book like yours that is so actionable and it's the kind of stuff I like to write too. Very, if you want to DIY it, go for it. The people who and if you're on this call and you've already seen some results, you've tried a few of the pieces in the book and you've seen, oh, I could do this or I have done this. Share some insights in chat to encourage others to take those steps because you actually are the best voice for this book and for the work that David does. Because then there are the people who are like, oh, this sounds great. And I want a coach to support me. I want a mentor. I want a guide. And that's more of what you do as well. So I love that you're bringing people in, you're giving them a chance to do this. Now, this book is different in the way you wrote it, and it's different in the way you launched it. I know you and I have talked about this on my podcast, BizBook Pub Hub. It was really
Yes.
fascinating to go in and hear what you did your first time through with the launch. But tell us a little bit about what does make this different from the other books you've written.
Sure. So the other three books, and by the way, the other thing that I just really love and really appreciate is so many reviews said, I have all of David's books, and this one's different. This one's the best one. If you don't know David, start with this book, start with Market Eminence. So the previous books were big, they were heavy. They were like 50, 60,000 word business books. Colorful layout, short micro chapters. The Do It Selling book, the third one, very visually rich, graphic. My vision for Do It Selling was to have a coffee table business book. And the reviews on that book that made me so happy were like, it's like a coffee table business book. It's like, yes, that's right. But anyway, I did not want this book. So those three books, those first three books, are how-to books. The premise of Market Eminence is how-to is over. How-to is dead. AI can take care of how-to. So my three previous books, by the way, just relative to ChatGPT, 2013, 2020, 2023. So I wasn't competing with ChatGPT, right? This book has to take on AI, ChatGPT, and this thunderous wave of content that the world is now burgeoning under. So no more how-to content. How-to content is done. Stick a fork in it. We can't distinguish ourselves with that. How to think content, however, and that's why every one of the micro chapters has a specific section near the beginning, says how to think about this challenge, how to think about this metric, how to think about this parameter in your business. And then it's got some things to think about. And then it's got some mind spark questions that you can take yourself through, or if you have a team, take your team through. And then it's got an explicit exercise that you should do. And part of the bonuses that you get, and again, most people here have the bonuses when you go to marketeminence.com, you get worksheets that you can add. You don't need to mark up your book. I know there's some book nerds that hate to write in their books, but get the worksheets at marketeminence.com and actually write down. You don't need long answers. We're talking bullets, keywords, short phrases. Take yourself through those exercises and you will come out the other side very, very different. So think of this as it's really a playbook or a workbook, much more so, and it's also a how to think book, much more so than the other books that were more long form business books and long form how to. And the how to is still valuable, but I could never compete today writing a book like Do It Marketing because honestly, aside from my quirky personality and funny examples and battle scars and war stories and landmines that I've exploded on myself, most of the principles in Do It Marketing, AI could crank out that book in 20 minutes. No problem. Easy. Now, it wouldn't have my tone, it wouldn't have my voice, it wouldn't have my flavor, but so this had to be a different kind of book. And then the different kind of book launch, before I used partners, and I realized, well, partners are great and some promote you in a big way and some don't. I said, who did I really write this book for? I wrote this book for all y'all. And so why don't I ask? So you guys helped me write the book with the beta readers. You guys helped me launch the book, which is part of what we're doing now and celebrating now. So why in the world wouldn't I turn to you to help me market the book? If it's added value to your world, if you found some nuggets, if you made some decisions, if you changed some direction in your business, thanks to the book, I realized I didn't need to send millions and millions of emails. I didn't, as much as I appreciate and love all my launch partners from before, and there's still some of my friends, Corey Perlman, Jeffrey Gittimer, Mark Hunter, you name it, Bryn Tillman, all kinds of amazing people helped me and are still helping me with various things. But I said, let's do this for the people that count. Let's do this for the people that matter, which is the people that are on this call. And so thank you for helping me with that different kind of launch.
It is a different kind of launch, different world from when you were first launching too.
Yes.
So you've already shared a little bit about the resources. I put a link in chat so people can go check that out. We're now shifting gears, and you suggested when we were designing this launch party that rather than having guest speakers, you want to do 3 live hot seats, some coaching,
Yes.
live coaching. So you can bring up your slide to introduce what you'll be doing in the next segment.
Fantastic. Let us do that. So we're doing hot seats, and let me share my ground rules. Hot seats. So very, very quickly, this is my hot seat disclaimer. If we were doing this in person, people would be pulling up a stool, they'd be on stage with me, we'd be talking. This is a time compression exercise. I work with people for an hour, 4 hours, a month, a year, multiple years. We are going to get as much done as humanly possible in a 4 to 5 minute time frame. This is not a performance. This has not been rehearsed. This is not for your benefit. Truly, it's not even for my benefit. It's for the person in the chair. It's for the person in the hot seat. And another disclaimer for both my hot seat volunteers and for everyone else is we may skip around. We may eat dessert first. We may end up with more questions than easy or pat answers, but it's going to be very, very worthwhile. So that's the disclaimer. There are 7 deadly sins of market eminence that we're going to look to erase from all 3 of our hot seat participants. Part of this is going to be on their website. Part of this is what they say, how they say it, how they present themselves. So for each hot seat participant, Robbie is going to share in the chat that person's website. You can pop over to their website as we're talking and look for some of these things. What is it you're looking for? I'm glad you asked. Let's go to the preacher in the Church of Market Eminence and let's find out what you're looking for during these 3 hot seats.
And 7 sins, church, right here in the Book of Eminence. Number 1, sameness. Number 2, dullness. 3, obscurity. 4, irrelevance. 5, mediocrity. 6, commodity. And last but lethal, complacency.
You got it? That's the 7. And I'm having so much fun with these Sora videos. We just have to hear that again. Here we go.
And 7 sins, church, right here in the Book of Eminence. Number 1, sameness. Number 2, dullness. 3, obscurity. 4, irrelevance. 5, mediocrity. 6, commodity. And last but lethal, complacency.
There you go. Now, what do I mean? What do I mean by those 7 things? I'm going to give you some very, very specific things to look for. And when you see them, so when you see them, we're about to bring Rob up here in a moment. We're going to go to Rob's website. When you see things that we're after, that is a positive. Please feel free to type in the chat because we've got, some 75, 80 really smart consultants, speakers, trainers on this call. And when you see a violation of this, also feel free to call that out. And again, we'll grab that portion of the chat or you can save the chat. So what we're after is things that are non-obvious, contrarian, different, polarizing, no jargon. When you see jargon, we got to turn on the cliche killer and the jargon killer. And also, it cannot be about you. This is very, very important. It needs to be about the people that you serve and the problem that you solve. It needs to be rebellious, unapologetic, myth busting, validating, and most of all, permission giving. So they give their prospects permission to see what's missing, funky, broken, and sad, call it out very specifically, and be the solution that their prospects and their clients have been looking for. So this is kind of your litmus test, is that we need to be contrarian, non-obvious, no jargon, no cliches, not about you. And if you see any of these things, please point them out generously and kindly and with love in the chat. I will be going through with each person and just kind of surfacing what might be the real mojo and the real juice in their market eminence game plan, and then we will go from there. So, if we're ready, we're going to have the amazing Rob Stenberg join me on the virtual stage. Rob Stenberg, how the heck are you, by the way?
5 minutes on the clock.
Doing well. How you doing, David?
I'm doing great. It is so good to see you. So I'm going to summarize. I'm going to summarize the problem. So Rob is a storytelling expert. In his own words, the challenge is differentiating myself in the storytelling space for salespeople. Okay, that's what we're after. And again, if you go to the link that is in the chat, you can see how well we're communicating that. Rob says, my differentiator is I also teach story tending, a level of listening that is above active listening. And then possible solutions, create a story tending scorecard for sales managers and salespeople, design a keynote or workshop around story tending. And then I said, if we solve this for you, what would be the best possible outcome? And Rob says, endless opportunities to train salespeople and leaders to help them find their connection code. So, Rob, to what extent, if I go to your website and I have 5 seconds, I'm a prospect, I'm a buyer, will I see, number one, the story tending, and will I see the distinction and that extra layer that you put behind storytelling specifically for salespeople?
Not near enough, no.
Okay, good answer, good answer. Not near enough. The other thing that I noticed in going to your website is there's a lot of stuff around storytelling without the secret sauce. So, and especially, so here's what I love about where you're going with this. Yes, storytelling for sales would be the category, but I don't think it's about storytelling, nor do I think it's really about listening. So you've done this a little bit already so far?
Right.
Okay, good. So what are your clients saying after your program? What's the feedback that you've been getting? Just give me a couple of short phrases, keywords that they tell you how you've helped them.
A quicker way to get to trust and connection, and finding out exactly what is really the problem with their clients. It's that connection where they feel the trust, and I can trust you enough to tell you, yes, this is my problem, rather than what's on the surface. We've all gotten that from clients. They give you one thing, well, it's really 3 layers deep as to what the issue is for them.
Okay.
And once you teach the storytelling side of things and teach the story, once you bring them both together, they get to that issue much quicker.
Okay. How much work? So perfect. Thank you. This is the part where we're skipping around into the brain of Newman. how much work do you do with straight up leadership versus straight up sales or sales leadership?
Mainly with sales and sales leadership,
Okay,
85%.
perfect, perfect. So you have leadership all over your website. My friend Robert Bradford says, you know, when people say sales and leadership and customer service and I'm quoting my friend Robert Bradford, this is not from me. He says, every and means that you suck just a little bit more. And when I heard him say that, my website was full of and. I was covering all the bases. I was casting a hugely wide net. And when I started to do an andectomy, and team, you can do an andectomy on your website, on your target market, on your keynotes, on your deliverables. I would say what your clients are telling you, Rob, is
One
the
minute.
secret sauce. Thank you, Robbie. Um, when you said train the salespeople and sales leaders to find their connection code, I got shivers running up and down my spine. Have you talked about, marketed, articulated this concept of the connection code for sales as a standalone thing? Don't worry about storytelling. That's the how. Don't worry about story listening. That's also the how. But the connection code for sales, have you doubled down on that yet?
No, actually, it's just something that I've used in my elevator speech that I help people find their connection code.
And when you say that in your elevator speech, how is it usually responded to or received?
People get it. They say, "Oh, yeah, you help people find out how their best way is to connect with others."
That's what you do. That's what you do. Now, we can workshop that more. We can go deeper and further into it. But please
Right.
start talking, preaching, and teaching that with those words, and you'll be miles ahead of where you've been.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All righty. Our next victim, our next brave volunteer, I mean, is the amazing Heather Sanderson. Now, Heather's in a little bit of a different kind of business. Heather is in the trade show display business, or it looks like Heather is in the trade show display business. So, hi, Heather, welcome. By the way, I think we must have had 9 or 10 different submissions for these 3 hot seats. Heather wins the most detailed, specific, helpful, and thoughtful submission. So I'm going to read a little bit more than I read with Rob. So the challenge is the company is Denmar Displays, and I think that's already in the chat. So thank you, Robbie. Many prospects don't clearly understand what Denmar stands for beyond we build trade show displays. Many cases, they don't even understand that. And we are different because when I explain to them that we offer a recycling program as well as coaching them from the first day to the final day, and we help them get what they need versus what they think they want, so they get better ROI from business events. This is all part of the problem. Later on, when I ask about possible solutions, what Heather wants to do is turn trade shows into revenue driving experiences. And then another piece of gold in here is exhibits designed to attract, engage, and convert. So Heather, it's honesty time, just like we did with Rob. If I was to scan your website, just first 5-10 seconds, I'm not looking at every page, would I see phrases like better ROI from business events, turn trade shows into revenue driving experiences, or exhibits designed to attract, engage, and convert?
Only through our blogging.
So would you say that is a pretty good opportunity to change your homepage, your services page, your about page? So the challenge is, of course, as Heather says elsewhere in here, we look like every other trade show company. And people come to you and they typically start with, hey, Heather, sounds great. How much are you? How much is it? Right? Couple questions for you to help you frame this new value. Your not typical client, your ideal client, the high level premium clients that you have now. How much is their average spend per trade show that they go to on
50.
everything? Do you know?
50K.
50K. Do you know, are most of them happy or unhappy with their trade show ROI?
Probably middle road. Some are
Okay,
probably
so
super happy and
some are a
some.
hit, some are a miss. Okay. Your most successful clients, I know you said it's tough to get testimonials and you don't have enough testimonials and enough people singing your praises. We can fix that, of course. But for the few that you have, what kind of ROI are you putting on the scoreboards for them? Through your consulting mainly.
So again, it's usually hard for them to justify the numbers. They tend to say that they had better conversations, and they might have a longer sales cycle.
Yeah.
So it might be months before they get back to me about anything, if at all. By then, I'm forgotten.
Okay. So do you feel that your personal positioning as the CEO, founder of this company, if you were more visible, if you were more of a thought leader and a resource and a mentor to the industry that you serve, they would have a higher level of respect coming in when they work with you, and the first question might not be, "Hey, how much is it?"
Yeah, I actually very rarely get that question, actually, how much is something?
So, but they do price shop you, you said.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
1 minute.
Whatever that looks like. So, where besides the blog, what I'm seeing on your homepage is, we do trade shows. What I'm also seeing right on the homepage is about us. It's like about us. Oh my God. So we're already violating a couple of the sins. And if I were to rewrite this, right? So experts in the trade show industry for 35 plus years. Who's that about? That's about you. Welcome to Denmark, the trade show products experts. That's about you. Below that section, about us. That's about you. Services is we're going right to the solution without articulating the problem. So, our very best clients, and this is for everybody, you should have this somewhere prominent in your marketing. Clients tend to hire us when they're experiencing one or more of the following: ooch, ouch, pain, problem, heartache, headache, gap. Now you have their attention. Are you willing to make some of those changes, my friend?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. And
Ooh,
then you will attract an entirely different level and breed of client and prospect and move upstream in everything that you want to do. So thank you.
thank you.
All righty. Whew, this time compression. I'm getting dizzy up here. It's so exciting. And again, we could do this for an hour with everybody, right? We could do this for 4 hours with everybody. But I'm hoping that these little 4 minute snippets are helpful. So our next brave volunteer is the awesome and amazing Val Grubb. Val and I met back in the days when I had a day job, and she was doing seminars for a company called Business 21 Publishing. And I was their VP of product development. I was helping them run their seminars and webinars and whatnot. And my CEO said, "Oh, Val Grubb, she's amazing. She's fantastic. We'll use her for all kinds of webinars and audio conferences." And do you remember that, Val, that we
I
go back,
do.
right?
I do.
So,
Long, long time ago.
long time ago. And it's amazing that we're both still 37 years old, but here
It's
we go.
incredible how that works.
I know. So Val is a leadership speaker, and the problem with being a leadership speaker is that there's a million leadership speakers. So, the challenge is, and this is in her words from the question, she's really, really struggling to show how I'm unique in what I offer. And then she's thinking about doing something around the leadership accelerator or leadership that accelerates profits. She says, "I have chat GPT'd this to death." The problem with chat GPTing anything, and I'm sharing this for Val's benefit and for everyone else, chat GPT is a fantastic aggregator and then blender and regurgitator of everything that it finds on the internet. So it's really tough to chat GPT your differentiator, because chat GPT sort of is looking for the common ground. It's looking for the common DNA, right? The patterns. It's a pattern recognizer and it's a content aggregator and summarizer. So it's my distinct belief, and you can read about this in the Market Eminence book. I love AI. I hate AI for this purpose. I don't think AI is really good at doing any of this work unless you give it very specific differentiator type of prompts. So she wants to figure out her market niche and then capitalize on that. The final missing piece I'll share is she has this amazing background in the media industry. So Oxygen and Barry Diller and all of these amazing media companies. Finally, that's two finallys. She wants to do more keynoting and less training. Now, when I go to your website, Val, it says the headline, although the hero image is a video of you speaking, which is great, it says Val helps organizations stop babysitting managers and start seeing through real leadership results that, okay, speaking. Val speaks to groups of, right? Even on your services menu, you make speaking the poor stepchild. Services menu says coaching, training, speaking is third. If you want more speaking, I would put speaking front and center. Now, your very best favorite clients, are they in the media industry or not?
No.
What industry are they in?
I do a lot with Sherm. I do a lot in like Moderna, pharma. Do a
Okay,
lot
pharma. Perfect.
pharma in associations with pharma.
Okay.
Do a lot with pharma companies. Also do a lot with manufacturing companies.
Okay. So if you had a dedicated landing page for each of those industries, and the pharma had the pharma testimonials and maybe even some pharma video, right, where you're giving pharma examples around leadership, leading technical
Oh,
people, leading pharma people, leading pharma salespeople, whatever it might be. And then same with manufacturing, people would see you in the context of the work that you want more of. And this is really important for everyone. Buyers have very little imagination. The context in which they see you is the context in which they set you. So if they just see, oh, well, she's a generic leadership speaker, she speaks to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and then you do make a big deal of your media background. Honestly, I would too, because it's great. But that also does not broadcast, I'm now focused on pharma. I'm now focused on manufacturing. So I'm not saying don't talk about it, but talk about those target markets where you want to do more business so that the context in which they see you on your website, on LinkedIn, on some of your content, your emails, your videos, the context in which they see you should be the context in which they set you. That's going to help the phone ring more. Tell me about getting out of training and wanting to do more speaking. Why do you feel that
1 minute.
you're sort of buttonholed into the training? And thank you, Robbie.
I just that is 50% of my P&L.
Okay.
And keynoting is 25 and coaching is 25.
Okay.
And
And
I don't have a process. Like it's been word of mouth, like your
yeah,
first year opening.
okay. So I think two things need to happen. Number one is more clarity and more specificity. And then the leadership, the final thing that I'll say, which is a problem for so many people that I work with, is you have a whole bunch of amazing tools that you've invested in. So you have on your LinkedIn specifically, you do insights assessments. You're certified with Patrick Lencioni. You've got everything disc. When we start to market our tools instead of our value prop, it tends to commoditize us because there's a million people that do disc. There's millions of people that do Lencioni, and so I would focus more on the transformation and less on the tools on
Got it.
LinkedIn
Thank
and
you.
then elsewhere also. And again, this is general advice for everyone, but specific advice, Val, for you. Helpful? Do we have a new direction, some changes you can make?
Staggeringly. Yes. Thank you as always.
Excellent. Robbie
Wow.
Samuels, that concludes the torture part of our program.
Yeah, for you, more than those three people got a lot out of it. And we are going to share the recording for the three of them because they're going to want to dive back in and think through. 'Cause when you're in the hot seat, it's hard to take notes and listen and react. So thank you, though, for all joining us in that way. And it just shows you know what you know, David. A lot of great feedback in the comments as well. We're shifting gears here. We're almost getting to the end. We're going to get to the prize wheel in a second, and then we'll have some Q&A. This is a great time. If you have a question, I saw one from Lisa Rothstein. If you have a question, please write it in chat kindly write the word question in all caps before your question so I don't miss it, because there is a lively conversation and I encourage that to happen. And also, if you haven't yet and you want to share a way in which David has supported you, that's another nice thing to write in chat, and he'll get to read those later today. So I wanted to just we talked earlier about your review count, and Sophie Lechner said, "Wow, that's amazing!" in chat. And Sophie should know she recently had her own launch, and 200 plus reviews is a staggering number of people who took the time to write one. But it's really just the start. And the reason it needs to be just the start is that we need your book to be discovered by people who don't know you. So right now we just have the core group of people who are friends or friends
Right.
of friends. And the way the algorithm works is based on your keywords for your book. That is the question. Like, will your book show up in the search results page at the top? Not because you paid for sponsored ads, because the people said it was worthwhile. And
Yeah.
so the algorithm for the search results page looks at the quantity of reviews, the quality, meaning closer to those 5 out of 5s, the most recent reviews, so the recency. So great you had reviews now, but you're gonna have to steadily get reviews. So don't feel bad, folks. If you haven't done any reviews yet, I'm gonna drop into chat how you can go about doing it. And if you have, by the way, you can also put it on Goodreads as another way to give people access to the reviews. And then the last thing is the percentage of verified purchase reviews, which is something we don't control past the launch, because now you're going to be doing bulk sales and the book's going to be gifted to people, and there won't be a direct transaction with Amazon. So these early reviews that they bought the book to leave the review, no matter what modality they bought, whether it's audio, paperback, or Kindle, that will make a difference in the long term. And then there's just the human component. People check reviews before making a purchase. So very much want to say thank you to everyone here and everyone who has already done it and plans to do it. If you have not done it yet, it's Wednesday as we're recording this. Maybe you can get this done by Monday at the latest as a little gift to David. Get it off your to-do list and set your best intention, and you'll feel good about it too. David, how else can you support people who have supported you? I know that you and I have had a lot of conversations about next steps for this community.
Yeah.
What did you have in mind?
So I am doing something a little bit crazy. I'm doing something a little bit crazy. I wanted to do a deeper dive. So what we just saw is 4 to 5 minutes of what I call vigorous tooth cleaning. All my clients know what vigorous tooth cleaning means. You go to the dentist, it hurts a little bit, but it's good for you, and you end up with clean teeth. So I'm doing a Market Eminence Lab. This is 2 2-hour workshops. This is in early February. If you would like the details of how it works, what you get, what we're doing, please drop the word lab. Drop the word lab into the chat. And as you're dropping the word lab into the chat, imagine you just saw 4 to 5 minutes per person. Imagine if in a small group, and I'm limiting this to about 15 people, imagine if we spent 4 hours together. 4 hours, not just kind of doing boom, 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 kind of lightning round like you saw here, but more methodical, more time to think, more time to process, a week to kind of go back and kind of get your hands dirty and get comfortable with what you're building. And then we come back a week later, we refine it, we revise it. You can start to immediately put it on your website, put it on your LinkedIn, start talking about it in sales conversations, start having more people engage with your unique value, not because just of what you say, but of who you are, who you really are. And also, you can stop faking it around who you're not, right? So the kinds of projects, clients, and work that you really, really want will only come to you once you're crystal clear on what you do and who you do it for, who you are and who you're not, and who you definitely do not do it for. So again, all those things on our slide around contrarian, different, not about you, value first, intriguing, not vanilla. Not vanilla is the key. So if you're interested in doing that, I'm going to spill the beans because everyone's like, how much is it? How much is it? How much is it? There has never been anything I have done where you get to pay me $25 an hour. And you will be investing $25 an hour to work with me in a small group. So it's 4 hours. you can do the math. It's $100.
Yeah.
It's $100.
I'm
And
seeing
if you
tons
want
of
details
people.
on that, I will send you a much longer description. In that description, there's also a second way that we can work together if people want to go a little bit deeper, further, and faster with me one on one. If you're interested in that, that's also in the document that I'll send you. The first step is just drop the word lab in the chat. I will send over everything that you need to make that decision, look at what we're doing, and see if it's right for you.
So it's very important that you write the word lab because I'm going to use the word lab to scrape the names of the people who
Yes.
are interested in this. So I see lots of people. Now, you originally were going to cap this at the first 15. Maybe
Yes.
you'll have to run a second set of dates to
It is
accommodate.
possible that so the people that get the invitation, obviously it's first come, first serve based on the folks that enroll. If there is more than 15, I will absolutely consider a second cohort with different dates, and we'll figure out the dates together with that second group.
The dates are on the piece of paper you'll get tomorrow
Yes.
from David. And if you can't make the first set of dates, I'm sure there'll be a way to accommodate the second set. So,
Yes.
all right, fantastic. Keep writing the word lab if you indeed want to hear more information. Now we're going to switch gears and do a prize wheel because you are going to give away
Robbie,
copies
I
of the
don't want to
paperback.
interrupt your flow,
Oh,
but did you
yeah.
want to do a group picture before
Oh, yes.
this?
Let's do that first. Thank you for remembering that. I always put
I
big.
love a good group photo.
All right, friends, if we were in person, I would be telling you to sit closer together and put your drinks down. But we are not in person. We are actually online. So instead, I want you to sit up a little straighter. I want you to find the camera, which should be across from you. And I want you to smile. You ready to go? Three, two, one, cheese. Now I got to do this a second screen, so keep smiling because you don't know who's on which screen. Ready? Three, two, one, cheese. All right, fantastic. This is so cool. I love all the people that are here. Thank you for remembering to do that. We'll switch back over here to just you and I on the
Now we can
stage.
do the amazing prizes.
Let's do the prizes. This
And
is why we
Robbie,
have a.
what are the prizes that folks could win?
So, David, one of the strategies I do with my clients is they only release the Kindle version at first. And so for the entire fall, when your book was out, it was only available as a Kindle, and now it's available as a paperback and audio. So lots of good things. But we're going to give away paperback copies of your book, which I'm like wanting one because I'm realizing I'm the kind of person who's going to want to take some notes in the margin. Yeah, so anyone who registered as of late yesterday is on this list. There's a lot of people because all of you have really done an incredible job registering. We're going to spin 3 times, grab 3 names. And if Sam's on the call, you can grab these names and I'll make sure to give this to you afterwards as well. Don't worry about it. All
This is,
right.
by the way, for a signed autograph
Even better.
copy of the
Carlos,
book.
congratulations. So even if
Carlos,
you're not
awesome.
here, you still get the prize.
I love
All
the
right.
color scheme on the wheel.
Nice touch, right? Who's going to be? Oh, Brenna.
Brenna.
Fantastic. And yes, I did host No More Bad Zoom virtual happy hours during COVID. Someone's asking that question in chat. I am the one and same. And Dan.
My buddy Dan Janal, totally fantastic.
And I see more people writing lab, which is fantastic, seeing that come in as well. I love that someone said, like, wait, I think I know this Robbie guy from
Everyone
Zoom.
should know this Robbie guy. Everyone should know you.
Hey, as we're wrapping up here, I have a few questions that we were thinking about ahead of time. And then any questions that have come in, again, write the word question in chat, followed by your question. If someone is fairly new in business, is this still going to apply? If there's not like a big track record, they don't have all the glowing testimonials. They're just really getting started. Is this still a book that would help that kind of person?
It is absolutely still a book that would help that kind of person. In fact, the book would help and the lab would help. Plug, plug. This would simply prevent you from making all the crazy mistakes, commoditizing yourself, looking like, sounding like, acting like everyone else, and then 3, 4, 5 years down the road realizing, oh, This isn't working. I'm hitting a brick wall. This is harder than it needs to be. I thought I would be further along by now. All of those things. The earlier you do this, and all of my clients that have gone through this process, by the way, they say, I wish I had done this in my
Yeah.
first year in business. I wish I had done this sooner. So there is no too soon. Good question.
I've heard this pushback with my clients too. What if this market eminence platform is perceived as arrogant or pushy? Like I don't like that idea that people are gonna think I'm like all that in a bag of chips. Even if
Right.
I think I am. Like, how do I avoid that like, stink?
Yes. So you don't want to come across as a jerk.
Right.
Some people have a problem with being a jerk. I clearly do not. I have no problem with this. Um, no, the serious answer is this is actually not about being arrogant or offensive. Will it push some prospects away? Yes, that's the point. So at the moment you get clear, I mentioned those things a few seconds ago, who you are, who you're not, the kind of ideal projects, clients, work, and fees that you want to get. The people that are not a fit, the people that are literally round peg, square hole, that have been wasting a lot of your time, causing a lot of the chasing, persuading, and convincing that you're doing in your sales process, those people fall away. And then a whole new set of people that are in alignment with your values, with your vision, with your best kind of work, with the kind of fees that you know you deserve, and they'll be happy to pay, able to pay, eager to pay, and happy to pay. That is the new world. But do you have to push away some of the bad fits? Absolutely, you have to. That's the point. And that's also what's going to put fuel on the fire of your marketing and sales results.
One of the key messages is about being contrarian. And it's one of the things I think you and I are bonding over because I am a contrarian in the space that I'm in. I didn't have
Yes.
that language for it. But I love the concept. But then if you're doing it all the time, can it feel, well, a little tiresome in your marketing and even in how you're approaching it? And is that like your one trick pony kind of thing? Like you're always a
So if you
contrarian?
keep hammering the same exact points over and over and over again, yes. But the good news is, and this is another thing that I work with clients on quite a lot. They say, so is this like just I change my homepage once and then I write a LinkedIn post and then people know that I'm this crazy maverick visionary rebel? And it's like, no, this will start to affect, and this will start to get absorbed into everything you say and how you say it, everything you do and how you do it. So you will literally start vibrating on a different frequency than all of the commodity, same-o, lame-o, look-alike, act-alike, sound-alike people. The way I answer this question, Robbie, is if we were truly, genuinely vulnerable, transparent, and authentic, you are more of who you already are. You're not putting anything on. You're not being weird for the sake of being weird. You're just being more you. You're being more real. Does being more real get tiresome? Do you wake up in the morning and go, oh, I got to be David Newman again. I got to be Val Grubb again. Holy crap. I got to be Carol Abrahamson again. I got to be Rob Stenberg again today. Man, that's getting old. No one says that. No one says that. So will it get old for you? No. Will it get old for your audience? No. But it will start to vibrate on this much more connected and authentic frequency.
Earlier when you were doing your last hot seat around websites and you were talking about I'm a multi-passion entrepreneur. Some people work in multiple industries.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to have pages that people land on that really make it clear that you get them. Someone was
Yeah.
saying in chat, pharma wants to work with people who've already worked with pharma. So like
Yes.
how do you make that clear while also letting banking hire you? That's also another group that you focus on.
Sure. So part
So
of it
wait,
is,
the question was, sorry,
yeah.
from Lisa Rothstein was, what about industry specific subpages that people are directed to? Like, how would that work? Do you have a place on your homepage that you then say like pharma and they click? Do you
Yes.
use it for SEO and it's not connected to the homepage? Like,
So the short answer to all of that is yes. I would start to do dedicated, not just pages, but dedicated content, dedicated LinkedIn posts that are now come up in SEO search and AI search, dedicated blogs, dedicated podcast episodes that come up in Google search and AI search. And so if let's say if we go with Val for a second, right? Pharma leadership speaker, right? If she was to optimize some content around pharma leadership speaker, pharma leadership keynote speaker, that would start to propagate in Google, on LinkedIn, on all of the AI search results, the AI summaries at the top of the search results, and that would then lead to, instead of valgrub.com where everyone goes and maybe there's some navigation, some whatever it's called, you're branching your traffic on that homepage. But if I'm a pharma executive, I would go right to valgrub.com/pharma. If I'm a manufacturing CEO, I would go right to valgrub.com/manufacturing, because that's where that content lives. That's where that article lives. That's where that video is embedded on YouTube, because YouTube is the second largest search engine. If I was to type in pharma leadership, manufacturing leadership, her videos would come up that are embedded on those same pages. So you do want to be intentional with that. I will tell you that whether you decide to do that or not just Val, but all of us, being generic and hedging your bets is a guaranteed path to obscurity. So you do not want to do that. Even if you take a risk and try some of these things, whether you sign up for the lab or not, if you're on your own recognizance and you're like, well, David Newman said I should, blah, 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 you will be better off trying it and failing than you will be staying generic.
yeah, milk toast is not going to help anyone. I have 3 questions that were written in chat and rescued by Sam. So thank you, Sam, for helping me catch those. One is from Margaret Anthony. Did you say focus on transformation instead of tools? Is that the rule? Is that a good rule?
Oh, yes. So if you're certified in Lencioni and DISC and Myers-Briggs and you have all these, letters after your name, no one cares about that because all those things are yours. This is like hiring a beautiful custom home builder. And rather than tell you about the lifestyle you're going to have once you move into the beautiful custom home, they say, hey, I got a Black & Decker drill. I got some Stanley screwdrivers. You should see the amazing house I'm going to build for you. I have this Makita table saw like nobody's business.
So
no one cares about your tools.
Jeff
Everyone cares about what will my life look like once I move into the custom home.
In relation to that, Jeff Rogers wants to know, where is the appropriate place to put or highlight those tools with a client to leverage it?
Honestly, and I all of the certifications, all of the assessments, all of the licensing programs hate this answer. I would keep the tools in your toolbox, and they only get opened once you've been hired, because no one gives a hoot. I'm being kind here. We're doing PG-13. No one gives a hoot about the tools in the toolbox until they know you can solve their problem.
I want to follow up on this because I think people are collecting credentials as a way to make themselves feel
and they're
valid.
Collecting tools and assessments,
but they're doing it to make themselves feel valid enough to step up and be chosen.
Yes.
And you're saying that's turning you into more of a commodity where someone's shopping for
if you put those
disc.
front and center, it will commoditize you.
Right.
Yes.
Because someone is like, we are looking for someone to do disc. And then you're going to be compared to like 10 other people who do disc. But if you help them realize the thing you really can help them with, which is the bigger P problem, not the little symptom, but the bigger problem, they might come to you, and disc may or may not be one of the tools.
That's right. That's right.
It's a faith. I mean, I think people like worry that if they remove all of that, like, what's left? And that's something I think, therapy might be.
Right.
I don't know.
By the way, for the folks that are investing in these tools and platforms and certifications, they are great. There's a fantastic tool set to come into a company or work with a person and help them in very specific, proprietary, scientifically proven, data-backed ways. Before you're hired, no one cares about that. It will hurt you instead of help you. Once you're in the door, having a world-class toolkit, awesome, good for you, good job.
I think the last question that I see here from Trina Boyce wrote that has 35 books. Some are, quote, mainstream, while others are religious. Would you suggest I create two separate websites to establish two different online presences?
Oh, yes, very much so. It's funny with the book publishing and the authorship world. Same with the speaking world, by the way. There's some very, very successful NSA speakers that Robbie and I both know. They speak in the Christian world. I don't know any Jewish faith speakers, but they speak in the Christian world. They have a Christian focused speaker website, and then they have a non religious, just regular speaker website that doesn't mention all of their work in the spiritual arena. So, with authors, absolutely, you want to have the Christian book universe and you want to have the non sectarian, regular, what's it called? Ecumenical? Well, what's it called? The non-religious. Let's just
We'll go with that.
non-religious
We'll go with that.
books.
Yeah.
Correct.
This is great. If anyone, make sure you write lab specifically.
Secular, yes, secular. Thank you.
Thank you, EG. Write
Secular.
lab if you would like to get more information this week about the Market Eminence Lab, two-hour workshops, max at 15 people each. There are 2 dates set, and then there will be other dates set, and you'll learn about all that in the message that comes out to you in the next day or so. You also get the replay from today, and for those of you who are watching the replay, I thank you really for sticking around. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little hangout with the author. This is the informal time that would normally be what would happen if we were like cleaning up the room, you know, when we were like stacking the chairs. So if you want to stack chairs with me, blue ones to the left, green ones to the right. If you found a yellow one, it doesn't belong here. I don't know why they keep showing up. So, but for those who want to stick around, I will facilitate any comments people want to make to David. Now, there are 2 screens of people because there's still a lot of you here. So if you wouldn't mind clicking the raised hand button on the bottom of the screen to queue up if you want to say thank you, if you want to say congratulations, if there's a question that you didn't get addressed that you want to pose, we'll hang here for a little bit longer for those who are able to stick around and do that. And otherwise, we'll wrap up here. We're almost at time, but for those who can stay, we'll go a couple more minutes.
Another thing, in addition to the questions, etc., and I see Rob, your hand is raised. One of the things that I reposted on Facebook this morning is if you don't risk turning some people off, you'll never turn anybody on, which I've been saying for 15 years plus. So if something I said or something we talked about turned you off, let me know about that, because that's another measure of my success.
That's great. Rob, and then Margaret.
Thanks. David, I've had to, for the last 2.5 years, I've pretty much mothballed my speaking and coaching workshop business, went back into the corporate world. November, first week of November came, my position was eliminated due to organizational restructuring.
Yeah.
And so getting back into the speaking, coaching, training business, if there was one thing that you would have to do to start over where you've mothballed a business, what would be that one thing that you would do?
Wow, what a great question. So I've done that, by the way. I've done that. When Val Grubb and I first met, I was already 5 years into my business. I had no idea what the heck I was doing, and I went back into corporate for a year. I was also fired. I was fired on Valentine's Day 2008. So not a fun experience. Laid off, not fired. But nonetheless, no job, no paycheck, no benefits. Like, "Grr." So what I would do is I would set up or reset up your business bank account, and I would set up a weekly paycheck where whatever your salary was, you are on a salary replacement enforcement plan. Let's say that you're making $6,000 a month. Every 2 weeks, a check for $3,000 would come in. Your business account needs to have enough money in it where every 2 weeks, starting right now, you'll do a transfer every second Friday of $3,000 from business account to personal account, business account to personal account. And you say, well, David, there's no money in my business account. Yeah, there was no money in my business account either. But I knew I had to put myself on a paycheck, And come hell or high water, I did what needed to happen to make that paycheck happen. And that is the very best advice that I can give. Since then, my buddy Mike Michalowicz came out with a book called Profit First, which is all about paying yourself first. That's a pretty good book. And in fact, Robbie Samuels just interviewed Mike on his podcast. Mike is a fantastic, amazing serial entrepreneur, serial book author, super smart guy. But put yourself on a paycheck and your business will skyrocket faster than you imagine.
I
Thank
love
you.
this. Margaret, go ahead and unmute down here, bottom left. Oh, I apologize. Give me 1/2 sec. Hold on a second. I just realized we still had it set so no one could unmute because I was trying to keep you all quiet during the good parts. All right, Margaret,
Okay.
all you.
So, I was confused. So we can't just go to Amazon and order your book. We have to go
Yep.
to a
Yeah,
special.
I shared the link several times. Here, I'll
But
drop it in.
can't I just go to my regular Amazon and look for
Sure,
David Newman? Yeah.
totally.
Sure. Or
Yeah,
the
Oh,
link's right
okay.
there in chat. The link
No,
right
but I
to his
mean, I
book.
don't need the link. Can I just go? Is
you
it just
can, of
there?
course.
Yeah. Okay.
You
My
can. So
second,
just clicking the
and
link
on
will
the
simply
same
save you a
note,
step.
I wasn't sure if after I get the book and read it and try to do it before Monday, can I just write the review in Amazon or do I have
Sure,
to do it another way?
sure, totally, absolutely right.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you so
okay,
much.
okay, okay, yeah, okay. Thank you for all of your books. And I don't know what you were saying about, are you saying speak it, do it speaking? You're sorry you wrote it or it wasn't a good book?
No, I'm sorry about the pandemic. I'm not sorry I wrote it. It's a great book. I'm sorry it
Yeah.
came out in January of
Ah,
2020.
right. Maybe that because it is a great book. I
Thank
love that
you.
book. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I love all my children equally, except this last one is the best.
Okay. I'm gonna read it.
Copy agrees. Sophie agrees. I'm seeing lots of responses to that.
I love all the books.
Friends, we want to release you in time to have a little bit of a buyer break before your next call. I know you probably have one that started 3 minutes ago or in about 10. So thank you for coming. Thank you for sticking around. I'm going to wrap up this recording right now.